Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another edition, to another installment of hashtag Fade to Black. Let's go and get ready to start this week off on the right foot. I'm your host, Donnell Lamonte Morris, here with Anita Joke, aka Teach, and Beast Johnson. How y'all doing?
Doing
Doing good. How
wonderful.
y'all doing?
That's good. Good. So, first off, I know I said that we was going to talk about it in the middle of the show, but a big congratulations goes out to Beast Johnson on his album. So just want to go ahead and throw your have to throw the roses out there to you, man, and also the blunts and everything at you. I just had to do that because when we
I
have
catch both of them.
when we have one of our panelists doing great, we have to mention that and let the world know, including Seepaway. I saw Seepaway's video.
I was just thinking the same
Yes.
thing. He out there jamming
Living his best life.
like he out there. He looked like what Dave Chappelle was really doing in Africa when everybody said he lost his mind and ran away. Now that nigga was out there partying, and that's what Seepaway out there doing, getting it in.
He's reclaiming his ancestral roots. He is reclaiming his self-identity and his self-determination, and we're rooting for him to win in this summer Olympics.
Oh heck yeah! We all donated to his fund, and
Yes.
I haven't checked yet to see where he's at. But the way he's looking right now, I'm pretty much guessing that he's at or at least close to his mark, and he will be representing in the Olympics. So fingers crossed that he does what he says that he's going to do, the goal that he set, which I believe he's going to excel. So
I gotta put this out here too, because black folk always got this kind of quote unquote nigga mentality. So let's use our nigga mentality for a positive moment. We got a black American who found his ancestral roots, went and let it be known, was accepted in his ancestral homeland, to the point to where they saw they had a need which his skill set could facilitate, and said, "Sir, we want you to represent our country in the Olympics for your swimming. We see that you are an accredited American swimmer, but at the end of the day, you are African brother. And if you would honor us and represent us, so you got an American being represented by Africa, Umar, that's going to the Olympics, who will also be potentially one of the oldest, if not eldest, Olympians. Now he on his Bernard Hopkins coming in the game. Oh, knocking niggas out.
mm-hmm.
Can't you get behind a nigga moment like that? That's some shit to be proud of. That's some shit. That's your cousin in them.
Yeah.
I know him. They're my peoples. Let's get behind that.
I mean, be that uncle at that baseball game that's had too much. Yeah, that's my nephew. That's my nephew.
I know that. I know that. His auntie back in the day. Like, I know his peoples. Yeah, his auntie good people. We dated for a little bit. She tell you different, but it was the time.
Speaking of that, let's go and jump into our opening. I give it say opening ceremonies. Look at that Olympics going through my mind. Opening statements, and our show is going to be sponsored by Sky Zone Society. And with that, the ambassador, Mr. Beast Johnson, you will have first dibs.
Ooh. Good evening, one and all. And on behalf of Sky Zone Society and all their customer service-like endeavors and entrepreneurial spirits, we welcome you to the show. And on behalf of Giving Out Roses, I'd like to give a shout out to our sponsor. He just dropped a project as well. That's out on all platforms. Just search for Big V or Sky Zone Society. That's Big V. Sky Zone Society. Check them out. True hustler. And that kind of sums up my opening statement, which is don't be afraid to throw out your roses, especially if you want to have them thrown at you. Everybody out here doing something. Everybody out here trying to hustle. And when you get a leg up, even if it's just a little bit, give them that praise. Give them that just due, especially if you know that little moment means a lot. Case in point, me. Just released a new project, and the streams and numbers are looking very good on my end, and it's very humbling because I'm 37 now, so I've literally been doing this half my life since the age of 18. So to get to this point to where I have confirmed fans, not only in my state and in my nation and my country, but also in other countries and across the world. And it's very humbling also to hear people that don't even speak your fucking language that see that talent and respect that effort given and let you know that this is good shit. Keep it up. That's how greatness occurs. That's how legends and icons are made. You think Michael Jackson ain't had some moments where he was like, I ain't feeling this song, or I ain't feeling this whole thing. You think Beyonce ain't have her moments of falter? You think Tina wasn't feeling this shit? Just insert whatever iconic, notable, noteworthy name you want to. You think they ain't had their moments of humanity, of feeling flawed and weak? But it was that same humanity giving them their roses instead of throwing rocks at them to let them know that your effort is being put to good use. This endeavor is not in vain. There is success around the corner. You often end up achieving success beyond your own personal wildest dreams and expectations. Just because somebody gave you that nice little nudge along the way when you really wasn't feeling it. So in turn, take that moment as well when you see somebody. You ain't even really got to know them. You could just know of them. Hell, you could just see, somebody doing something. Share it. Like it. You ain't got to be really into it. I share all my people's shit, whether I've actually listened to it or not. If I know you're doing something, I'm going to share it. Why? Because it needs to be shared. You out here doing something positive. You ain't out here home. You ain't out here fucking people over. That deserves to be commended. And if given the opportunity, promote it. So don't be scared to throw roses. If everybody spend more time throwing roses, we wouldn't worry about rocks. With that, I yield the floor.
Thank you for that, Beach Johnson. My opening statement is kind of a mixed bag. It goes back to the video that I did on Saturday, where I said that we complain a lot. We do. And the only thing that can fix us complaining is we actually do something. That if somebody is not doing the work that we expect them to do, you should step up. Next man up. All the things that I said on that Saturday show, I'm standing with it. I'm sticking on to it. And this time I want to go much more further on this show since I got my panelists on here. And seeing what is going on in Palestine, what's going on in Gaza right now, is no different than what's been going on with us here in the States. There has been, and y'all can look this history up for yourselves. They have been military style attacks on black folks. And I'm not just only talking about Tulsa. It happened in Chicago. I think it's like 60, 70-ish that police just drop bombs on a building. This is every black person in America right now that's seeing what's happening in Gaza right now are just doing, well, damn. I guess they can relate to how we feel, what we've been going through. We had our lands taken away. We're literally getting stripped of our human rights in front of us. We basically have no say in anything. And then also, we just go and march and protest in the street, expecting something in return. So before any of your black folks say, well, what's going on in Palestine, what goes on in Gaza, don't have nothing to do with us, you are so ignorant and so stupidly wrong. Yes, I said stupidly wrong. Just because it's on a different continent does not mean that they don't have their suffrage is no different from ours. How land's been taken away. Remember back in 400 years, remember after Reconstruction? Remember all that land our ancestors had? And then when Abraham Lincoln got assassinated and his successor took over, and those Union troops went back to the north, and how they took all that land from us? Remember sharecropping? Remember that 40 acres in the mule? That's what's happening over there now. We just had going on maybe even 300-year start. So history is repeating itself. But we should not be that dumb and be that ignorant to just be like, oh, that's just we need to worry about what's going on here. But when you have two different groups that have similar problems, imagine coming together, realizing what struggles are not that far different, and actually doing something. So realize we're not the only ones going through this. And if this event can show you anything, it should show you that people, no matter who they are probably going through it just as bad as you is. That, beautiful.
Quaba, Manga Death, Manga Fareed, how are you? You know, this pandemic has taken us through a range of emotions, from fear to death, mourning and grief, to finding some resilience. Some people were put out of work, their businesses closed down, and they no longer had a paycheck. And our government has provided ways for those people, us, to be able to survive under different circumstances. And it shows itself in many different ways. And in so doing, I am finding that African Americans, again, are not getting their just due. There are many psychological games being played or psychological propaganda that is being pushed through social media to disarm and create fear for the African American to take part in the monies that the United States of America is throwing at any and every United States citizen and or permanent resident alien, those with legal immigration documents. And I bring this up because you'll hear about Pookie and Ray Ray, who didn't have a job, but they were able to get the unemployment. Or Pookie and Ray Ray, who were able to get the PPP loans, and they don't have a business. And so you may have a business, it may be a small business, or it might even be still a brainchild. But because we hear about different individuals being investigated to find some falsities, yet there's others that's going on and taking advantage of these monies and getting their business legitimate if it was not legitimate, or starting a business because their companies went out of business. My thing is this: what's the difference? Let's ask ourselves, what is the difference between a hustler and an entrepreneur? Usually you think of a hustler, a person that's working streets, maybe selling dinners on the side, don't really have a vendor's license, don't have any paperwork in order, but they're making their money under the table. Well, an entrepreneur is a little more forthright. That person is doing the same thing, selling those dinners, maybe out the back of their van, or they may have accumulated enough funds to get a truck and have a vendor's license. So the major difference is this: is paperwork, creating that paper trail. You may be that artistic florist, and you make flower designs, and every Sunday or every weekend you sell your floral designs at a flea market. You may make $300-400, or depending on how well received you are, you may make a lot of money decorating for weddings, for funerals, for any special occasion. But you don't see it as a real job, you just see it as a side hustle. Well, ladies and gentlemen, this is what these PPP monies are for. And I say monies because it's a combination of grant money, monies that you do not have to pay back, as well as loans. And I see our nation is divided. Black people are afraid to apply for the loan, where our counterparts, not only have they applied for the loan, they have got excessive amounts, and they're making their way and to become millionaires, while Black people are sitting on the sideline afraid of the propaganda that was put out there. So ladies and gentlemen, I always urge that if you have any kind of business, incorporate yourself. File your taxes on it. Create a paper trail. Create legitimacy. So you don't have to fall victim to the propaganda that when the United States is just throwing money out, you don't have to feel shy to take advantage of that opportunity that is your God-given birthright. And with that, I yield the floor.
And just like that, we are back. Ladies and gentlemen, yes, if you've seen the commercial for the not undisputed, I don't know why I said undisputed, unrehearsed podcast, we are back. And I got a new cast. It's going to be me, Beach Johnson, and as well as Mayo, as we're going to be talking about sports from college to the NFL to boxing. And speaking of Mayo, he just popped on in. So we're going to be talking about all sorts of sports, and we're going to be starting that show soon. So we're just going to get together and collaborate on different segments and all that stuff. But watch out. The NFL season is coming up soon, as well as college season. You know, Ohio, you know me, Virginia Tech. And
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, so we're going to be launching that once again soon. And I cannot wait. So let's jump into the show. But to be fair, since he jumped on in, Mayo, do you have an opening statement to give to us before we get into our regular show?
I'll just say let's continue to live, love, and laugh, and life is good.
All right, cool. All right, so let's get into it. Hold on, let me see. We got a comment. There you go.
There you go. I got a Buckeye fan out there. I love it. I love it.
Anyway,
we on the right today.
Just to make people mad and get people hyped at the same time. Roll Tide.
Oh my God.
Go Blue.
Oh, Teach, no, you just, oh my God.
I know. I can't wait till we get this show going. I like that shit.
Oh, yeah. I cannot wait. I cannot wait neither. Hopefully, Chi come on in. She be like, sweet potato pie? I don't know. Well, put something right there. Potato pie just sounds really good.
Sports. Let me just say this, okay? I had said, well, I want to get a little active. And my daughter, she does a lot of little sports. So the season had just ended, which was like the end of April. So I said, well, they have to have some program for the summer. So she sent me a link for kickball. I said, that is great. I can play kickball. You know? And so I planned it out all in my mind. And it said it's a co-ed team. So I'm like, yeah. I said, what I'll do is every time we come out to practice, I'll bring some pound cake, right? Because I decided that at my age, after I kicked the ball, I couldn't run to first base, but I could walk kind of fast. So in my mind, I figured I just kind of punt the ball that will force them to come down to the home to get the ball, which would give me enough time to get to first base. Well, my daughter felt that I was cheating the team. And she said, that's not fair to the team. I said, well, I'm a senior citizen. I can't run. But I can strategize to make sure that at least I get to first base. So just kick the ball very lightly and force them to run to get it, and I get to first base. So after I told her my strategy, she gave me an old link to sign up. With all the kickball sessions were closed, and she didn't say anything. And then the next Monday, she came over. She said, "Oh, I'm getting ready to go to kickball practice." I was like, "I thought it was over." She said, "Oh, today is the first day."
Don't tell nobody.
I thought it was over.
I couldn't even sign up, and they have several teams in the league. I said, "I didn't even have to be on your team."
Oh wow, that's messed up. That's messed up. Well, I guess T's gonna be making some appearances on the show, so I'm happy with that. So now on to the topic of today. So the topic what the show title is World of Public Opinion, even though I don't believe that exists, but I thought to put that as a topic because in the middle of the week, Tamika Mallory was put in hot water when she went on the podcast. I forgot what that podcast was. It is a famous one too, where she was explaining about what the Biden administration has done And then she went on the end, even though they didn't finish the clip, where she went on and said that, well, black people, we can't, I'm paraphrasing, ladies and gentlemen. She said, well, we just can't basically get what we want unless it's written in legislation. And a lot of people was gunning for that. But I already gave my thoughts about it when I did the show on Saturday, but I want to have y'all chime in on that. So not on Tamika Mallory per se, but in the context of what she was saying. She's basically saying that, you know, black people, we got to have something in writing so that it sticks, rather than Joe Biden just doing an executive, you know, order. So what do y'all feel? Should Joe Biden do an executive order and say, hey, let's go ahead, let's get to work on it now, or have it go ahead, Beast?
It goes back to what's like, all right, you want to do executive orders. It's still paperwork. And that's basically what she was saying. Every nigga in the hood know your crimes don't mean nothing unless you got paperwork on.
Because there was really, well, I won't say everybody. It's mainly the black conscious folks that was gunning for her. Like, see what the Democratic Party is doing? They got these folks on the forefront doing all these
common
things.
sense.
What does she mean? Like,
No.
I don't get it. What does she mean?
She basically said, as black people, if you break it down wholeheartedly, what she's saying that as a black whole, as the whole black American consciousness, the majority of the things that we are asking for require some kind of legal document or legislative precedence. Meaning, you got to get a whole bunch of folk, white people, because that's mainly who's in those positions right now.
True.
To agree on some paperwork that worded well enough in our favor to get us what exactly we want. See, motherfuckers forget it's the art of the deal, meaning, number one, ain't nothing official without paperwork. I can tell you, I can move down to Seattle and Donnell tell me he got a crib for me and I'm paying him, but if I ain't got no paperwork, 3 months down the line, some folk could move in talking about what the fuck you doing in my house. And I'm like, your house, nigga, I pay rent here.
It's funny that you mentioned that. I talked to y'all offline about that, because that's actually kind of what I'm going through right now.
Oh Lord Jesus!
So I'll talk to y'all offline about that. But go ahead, hold on, I interrupt you.
No, that's just more
You're
like
good,
you gotta have the paperwork.
You put that energy.
You gotta make it official. You gotta make it legal. So why wouldn't you expect from a local level, if it's like that on the local level, at the base level, why wouldn't you feel like it'd be that way at the top? In order for white folk, or all right, NRA, for all you gun-toting, ballistic, little dick having, penis Indian, secure motherfuckers out there that just need your guns. Need your guns. Y'all had to get legislative. Y'all had to get paperwork to allow y'all the level that y'all have currently. Y'all had to get motherfuckers to come together and write it out and agree, and then the executive order stamped it out. Same thing for black folk. Whatever we want, we got to word it, we got to hustle it, get it in front of them, get it on paper. They can realize after the fact what we really got. But at that moment, they just need to think it's one thing.
All right, so I actually got the video. Is actually I followed Tariq Nasheed. Here's the video. I'm trying to get from the start, but here we go. Hopefully y'all can hear it.
Something to say stop killing black people. It's not that simple. So he did immigration, obviously stopping this stupid wall that they're building. He dealt with the Muslim ban, getting rid of the Muslim ban. He dealt with making sure that I think 11 million people will become citizens. So he's doing things, right? But with black folks, you can't just sign something to say stop killing black people. It's not that simple. So he did immigration, you know.
So did everybody get a chance to hear that?
This stupid wall
Yeah.
So what's your take? I'm gonna give my take after I hear everybody else's.
Yeah, she sounded like an
Once again,
I'll let it go.
I mean, like I said, the base thing she's saying is like it's a sad truth, but it's one of those truths that can be easily solved. All she's literally saying is it's not as easy as saying stop killing black people. Police will stop killing black people. Sign it. It's law. Well, then there's a whole bunch of gray areas, as we know in America. It's a whole bunch of gray areas because now, if they let's say that's what y'all want, that's what they sign in the order. That's effective. The police now legally do not have the right to kill or shoot black people. Do you not honestly think that the naive, the uneducated, the all-around ignorant will not see that as an advantage, an opportunity to test the waters, so to speak, and just go out there and act a fool on a legal sin, break the law, and push them to the point where before that signing, they would have got shot. But now they can escalate to the point of pulling pistols out and doing all this other stuff, and maybe even take a shot at them. But the law says the police do not have the right to shoot or kill black people. You think ain't no ignorant nigga gonna go out there and actually start shooting at the cops now after that? If that's in-law, that's what you mean when you say it's not that simple. That's why the wording that we're using for this is police brutality. That's easier for you to word and wrap around and facilitate the change that you need. Because that police brutality primarily involves black people. So whatever changes and reformations that you make under police brutality will directly benefit and impact black people. That's how you word it.
Yeah. Look. Let's be frank here. You know, this is just another apologist of the Democratic Party, the elites and liberal, whatever you want to call it. Which I am a member of the Liberal Party, but I'm far left. And the problem we get most of the time is a Negro or two. The more we rise, we kind of start realizing that, hey, if I play this thing well, I could brand myself better, and I'll keep getting more opportunities. You know, and the problem, the reason where that comes from or where that stems from is often because most of the folks who we end up having as our leaders have never had an organized background in like community organizing or community leadership, or they don't have the political back. No, my bad. Okay, so they might have a community organizing background, but they don't have the political background. And somebody that has a political background don't have the other side of the community background. You gotta have both. For example, what she's talking about, if she's talking about what black people want, first of all, I don't think we all know what we want yet. Outside the fact that we want to get better treatment, everybody has different, and I mean by you don't have a collective voice. That's what I mean by that. It ain't like we've had a consortium. And we've had one of what's his brother's name? Tavis Smiley, State of the Black Union, and we had a list of things. We don't have a list yet. We need to do that. Know what we want first of all, and come to an understanding, an agreement where most of our leaders come together and have understanding. Then two, find out how we can push those things legislative wise. If she was political astute, she would know, which I think she is on a very basic and maybe middle ground level, because she's way educated than the average brother or sister on the street about politics. But if she knew well what Biden can do as the leader of the United States of America, and also as the leader of the Democratic Party today, is to call all the Democratic mayors in today and say, you are the one responsible for police killing in your city. It's an inner city issue. So there's this whole excuse that y'all giving Biden. He can't just sign one paper. He can't just do this. Well, he has leadership of the country and his party. So I mean, and that's just one of many issues that we have. We ain't talking about economic development. We ain't talking about healthcare. We ain't talking about all the things that they're cutting deals on. So these people are out there as smoke mirrors to confuse us. And I don't think they actually call them to go confuse the black folks. But they know that if I say something, I don't attack these folks, I might get a job with these folks next next quarter or next term or whatever. The more she gets closer to the mountaintop, the more she will speak stuff that is not going to be so antagonistic to the mountaintop. And that's what the problem is when you look at the folks who have gotten famous of doing that. We have a lot of folks that have gotten famous of that. They don't want to be too radical. They don't want to be too antagonistic to the popular party, even though the popular party seems to be on our side. But again, I use the word seems to be on our side. Sada Shakur is still locked up. Most folks, there's a lot of there's a lot of political prisoners that we have on the black side that are still locked up. That Biden could have written something to free them in a minute. If you just want to start doing little things to just let them know that I'm gonna come big for y'all black folks. Let me start somewhere. Let me free Sada Shakur. Let me take the J. Edgar Hoover's name off the FBI building, because that's the woman that's taking down Malcolm X, Marcus Garvey, Dr. King. Let me take his name off the. Let me show y'all that I really care about y'all. Let me not just go tell y'all some speech, and come back in and have my minions go out there, the ones that want a job, the ones, let them go tell y'all that, hey, Biden can't do it all. I mean, I could give you the same speech because I'm elected in the party to do that kind of thing. But when we talk to black folks, like I'm talking to my brothers and sisters, I need us to understand that we need to educate ourselves better. So what I know, everybody knows. So I'm not no special. And I'm not saying I'm special with everybody, but I'm not no special within my community. So the mayors of every community out there in America, in the 50 states, are not feeling like, oh, I know more, and now they're fighting the folks who are doing what she's doing. Because everybody wants some kind of territorial power. We need to stop all that. We need to come together and find out how we can, the policies, one, and what level of government are we asking for those policies from? But throwing a blanket out there talking about, we can't just do. It's a lot of things that Biden can do, but until some group of black people ask him to do it specifically, one, we can't say nothing because we've not asked him to do it. We don't have a list. Two, if he wants to take it upon himself to just do the police killing, then he can start somewhere by calling all the mayors in Democratic Party and say, I need to work on this with y'all. It's y'all in the city's problem. How can we work on this? And I yield from that.
Okay.
Teach.
I want to appreciate what Mayo has just said. And he's brought up a recurring theme that I used to harp on earlier in our show, and that is the Black agenda. What is it? What is Black agenda? And I've been asking, give me 1 point. And we still have not even gotten 1 point on the Black agenda. But let me speak to this. In 1875, we had the Civil Rights Act. Most people know about the Civil Rights Act of 1964. And if you read the verbiage in the Civil Rights Act of 1875, which was done during the Reconstruction period, it has the same verbiage. So what made the Civil Rights Act of 1875 that say that we, the United States government, shall not practice discrimination in public places, that all men are created equal in the face of the law? What made it that almost 100 years later, in 1964, Lyndon Johnson signed the Civil Rights Act of 1964 that said that we, the federal government, shall not practice discrimination in public places? What was the difference between 1875 and 1964? We have to think. We have to know that writing a piece of legislation without any redress is just like talking in the air. The difference between the Civil Rights Act of 1964 and the Civil Rights Act of 1875 was this. They created the EEOC, which was a commission, the Equal Opportunity Commission that basically said that
Equal Employment Opportunity Commission. Yeah, that's what it is.
EEOC. And thank you, Beast.
You have to think about it too.
Now go ahead. Anyway, it created that commission that allowed for a redress, which meant that if a person found themselves being discriminated against according to the law, now there was a mechanism in place that they could bring a lawsuit. They can go before a judge or a magistrate to hear out the case. That is the difference between 1875 and 1964. You know, you've heard, after 1964, the United States truly became the post-racial society. Because not only with companies were getting away with it. They said, we did it in the past, we're going to continue it now. That's called systematic racism. We're not going to change it, worse for us. But under the EEOC, that company that practiced discrimination can be fined. They were hit in their pockets. Companies love profits.
Bless you.
So they began to modify their behavior because there was some retribution. So if Biden signs a law saying we as a nation cannot practice police brutality, then he also has to have a commission or something in place to give that executive order some teeth, unless it's just simply a dog that barks that has no bite. So, one, we have to have an agenda. What do we want? The Black Panthers was the last one that came up with a plan, a 10-point plan of what do we want. But if you go down the plan, have we achieved some of those things? And the answer is yes, we have achieved those things. And that's the reason why we can't think of one and have an agenda, because we are achieving those things, maybe not in mass, but at least in opportunity. And it comes down to each individual, each family. Are you going to take advantage of opportunities that are there? And with that, I yield the floor.
All right, it's my turn. So the agenda part, that is correct. And that's what really ticks me off when you hear my own people complain about, we need this, we need that. And I said this on the show, and I keep bringing it up. On this show, past shows, plenty of times, I always say, y'all complain so much, but what did you want? Like I said, when Biden first came in, I said, this is the perfect time for our people to organize and to be like, hey, Biden, we got you in. This is what we want. Nobody said nothing. Nobody did nothing. It was the same old song and dance. So now let's go to people like Tamika Mallory. So
let me jump in real quick.
They didn't hear me though. I did.
Yeah.
You did.
Go ahead, Beast, and I'm gonna jump back in.
I was saying like when the whole thing about agenda, because what T said really got me thinking. The Civil Rights Act, it paraphrased stated that no racism and discrimination will be executed in public. And that's the whole thing about the wording, is to give you one thing while you're really getting something else. How T's talked about the whole systematic racism that's done behind closed doors. That's all they said in their rule. They said, black folk, we agreed to not be racist in public. We ain't say shit about being racist in private behind closed doors. That's an agenda. How are we going to achieve this goal without really either A, putting in a whole lot of effort, or B, coming out of pocket? So for Black folk, our agenda needs to be executing and achieving the goals that we want for our communities in a manner that is not completely apparent to them. They need to think that by giving us more, by doing this here for the transportation and departments that ain't really doing nothing, but really that money was set to funnel in for the community by way of getting in foods and goods and services and materials to build up shit. That's how you got to pimp. An agenda ain't nothing but a pimp plan. How I'm gonna get this hoe to give me some money without me coming out of pocket or me really having to put my hands on.
Or
That's
at least
agenda.
come to a reasonable compromise. I mean,
Yeah.
you got
And even a reasonable
compromise.
compromise is still, I'm giving you enough.
Right.
I'm extending my hand enough for you to appear that I'm going halfway with you, so that the extra incentive effort that you put in actually covers the bases, and bam, we got hands clubbed. I only went out 42%. You took over the other 58.
As long as I get mine and you get yours, we're cool. It may not be what we want, but
as long as I keep what I got,
right,
make you happy and get what I want.
Hands off. We good. But let's go to Tamika Mallory now. Now, yes, there are people that just believe that the Democrat Party can do no wrong. That's true. But I'm not going to put Tamika Mallory in that category because she done the work. She had the results. She's a lawyer. She also write books that was on the best time seller. So I won't say that she's pimping off the Black struggles or anything like that. There's plenty of people like her that has been doing this for a while and been doing it for a long time. What she said up in that video, I don't disagree with. That's just the truth. That is the whole truth, which goes back to what I was saying. When Biden first took over, when the Black people went out there and they voted in drones, because right now, like majority of 43 states, maybe even more than that, is trying to stop Black people from voting. They try to restrict them from voting. So with that being said, what she said was not wrong. They should have been better. We should have been, I will put us up in there. We should have been better prepared, got people together, called our local representatives and be like, hey, I got you in, I got whoever around the party in, and also I got Joe Biden in. Now it's time for y'all to ante up. It's time for us to pay us back. Nobody did that. Nobody. Now
because nobody had an agenda to achieve that.
And now with all this police brutality that's going on.
But she didn't say that in that video, though. She didn't say nothing about the local.
No,
she was defending Biden, which was
No. But also at the same time, she was telling Black folks that did not do what I just said, organize and talk to Joe and tell Joe Biden and pressure him and his constituents to start pushing not some Black agendas and Black all that stuff. You ain't gonna get nothing if you don't do that. Tamika Mallory was speaking nothing but the truth.
Right, I didn't see the whole body of the video. I'm talking about the clip that we saw right now.
Yeah,
that clip right there. She didn't say anything about the local. She just said like all the things that he's done.
But tell me this, Mayo. But when we Black folks, when we talk about issues that comes in our community, what's the first thing? Who the first person we blame?
The president. I mean, we conditioned to think that way. I know, but my
And,
point is that
yeah.
she was not sitting there educating anybody about that. And I don't think that it's because she don't want to. I think it's because she don't know better.
I think she did it in an indirect way because I probably would have done it indirect
She
way
started the conversation.
because I probably would have because
I
I would say she did it in an indirect way because when you hear somebody that sit there and saying, well, you know, Beast, his concert's all messed up and he don't know how to plan, and there's only so much he can do because he got right, you know, because he got people that's supposed to organize that for him so that the concert can go smoothly. But people want to go to the head of the snake. Like I said in the Saturday video, when you chop the head off that snake, the snake ain't dead. The whole entire body is still going to be moving. So chopping off the head of the snake or going at the head of the snake is not going to solve your problems. So
but she's going down the same street as everybody's been going, talking about the executive branch on the national level. What I'm saying is that if she really wanted to make a difference, she would have educated folks that it's not just those folks in the executive branch and the national level. Not those. It's not just him. That's one person. It's not just the executive branch on the national level. It is your local level, executive branch, and the legislative branch. I mean, I'm saying I don't think that she knows. I'm not even saying that she's a sellout yet. I'm saying that she's working on making sure she don't piss off those folks, because I would not be on there if I'm not elected to any party or paid by. No, hear me out. If I'm not paid by any party, I won't be there. Be like, all right, don't attack him. You know, he's trying to do some stuff. Because really, he is doing some stuff. I could tell you some things that Biden has done that's good for us on a very minute level right now. She didn't even name those things. So I'm just saying, for me, she's just kind of like trying to be there just to kind of like seem like she's covering an interview. She's doing an interview. I get a sound bite or two. I think that sometimes we get in that celebrity status and it carries us without us looking and without us knowing that I've kind of left what my main reason of doing this is. She started as an activist. I mean, I saw the little clip where she went on Breakfast Club. She went to Jay-Z and them, because Charlamagne sent them to Jay-Z. They funded her campaign and all that, and she's doing this now. She's doing a good job making a lot of noise, just like D.L. Hughley is doing. There's a lot of them making a lot of noise towards what's going on. I don't see any of them talking about how to solve it, and it's not like I don't think they're taking their time to go find out. I think they're more caught up in how many views they're getting and all, and that's what I'm saying. That a lot of our leaders are all caught up in that. Then let me actually go learn how to solve this problem so I can deliver it back to the people. I don't hear Malcolm talking when I hear talking. That doesn't sound like Malcolm X.
But here's the thing: Tamika Mallory is actually out there on the streets with the family. D.L. Hughley is on the radio.
They're all with the family.
That's a big distinct difference. But here's my thing too: you just can't say, well, they're saying all these things, but they're not doing much. Tamika Mallory is actually boots on ground there. Yes, I can say that. I can say the same thing about D.L. Hughley. Yeah, D.L. Hughley, he's on the radio and he's bringing it up when he has his I forgot what his spot is where he always say his side. And then he's off doing his comedy show and he does it. Yeah, and he does his comedy skit. Right. But you do got people that's out there actually boots on ground. It's a big difference. But she's been boots on the ground.
Well, hear me out.
She's been there with the families. But hold on. Hold on. But still, she's out there boots on ground. But we put our hate, our disdain on the. Well, she was there with the families at the press conference.
So
she's there. She's there with the families and talking with them.
She's a counselor or a therapist to the oppressed families. I mean, what service is she providing to us? Is what I'm saying. That she runs around to counsel families that are hurting, or she has a plan to. That's what I'm trying to.
So you're basically trying to generalize. I'm not talking about a big generalization.
I understand where he's coming from. It's just in the sense of it does speak to her efforts that she's willing to actually go to the families and speak for face to face and direct and get that firsthand experience. But he's more questioning the motives.
Not only that, but I'm saying, what does that do? What does outside you consoling the family? So you are the black community. No, I'm not taking a shot at her about this, but so you the black community's consoler in general. or whatever, you know, like you go out and console the family. Oh, I would say, you know, hey, we know who's gonna go there whenever something happens. We know her. We thank her for that. But let's know where your lane is at. Or if what I'm saying is, if you're saying that you are actually
What do you expect her to do? So what do you expect her to do?
let me get my video on so y'all can see what I'm saying.
It's a big difference sitting there saying like, what did she done for all of us?
No,
What
I'm
do you
not saying
expect her
that.
to do?
All I'm saying is that when you say she's boots on ground, for me, you almost tend, because what I think of boots on ground is somebody actually trying to fix the problem. Like, or what Obama was as a community organizer, like he's dead knocking on doors, getting people to vote against somebody, getting people to vote for somebody. And when I think of boots on ground, I'm not thinking about the folks who go on there like,
So
hold on, hear me out. I'm not thinking about the folks who are going on there like either showing family like, oh, this happened today, or people who are consoling the family, who are having vigils. We need everybody. I'm not saying we don't need her. All I'm saying is that, hear me out. I'm saying I'm not saying we do not need her. I'm not trying to poo-poo her party. All I'm saying is that don't now say that she's doing it all so that the folks who might be doing it all might not get their shine, or they might feel like, oh, somebody's doing it, and I don't need to do it. Tamika is doing it. We need to just listen to Tamika, because what she said right there is miseducating us like a mug. She's talking about it, like, oh, Biden is doing it. Nah, Biden can do some other things, and you can be telling Biden what to do since you have that platform, but you're still using that platform to tell Biden what to do. You're saying Biden is doing a good job, and you saying again, like, oh, I'm good. I'll go tell the families that, like they're gonna be all right, and I'm gonna go console them. Let them kill the next one. Then I'll run over there and go console them. But you're not solving the problem, because solving the problem is telling Biden that you're not doing a good enough job, and I know the things you can do. That's what I need them to start doing that. To start talking
But
to
she organized people in those communities. She
to do what?
organized, she protested, she marched,
Well,
and she marched.
I agree with Mayo, and I agree at this point. Looking at, are we coming together just to grieve and rehash they did us wrong? Or are we organizing, creating agendas, saying, hey, Mr. President, these are our demands. This is what we need from you. Now, maybe you understood, maybe you didn't understand the difference that I brought out between the 1875 Civil Rights Act and the 1964. You have to have a form of redress. First thing, yes, you have to make a law for people to respect it. But the second thing is, you have to have some form of redress. If you find yourself in a position that you have been offended and the law supports your stand, then we have to be able to move forward to eradicate that behavior. And it's done over time. It's done over time, but you have to have more than just come together, lights and candle protesting. You have to have an agenda. What do you want to see? What is the end result out of all of your labors? What is your paycheck? What does your paycheck look like? Does your paycheck look like less Black people being killed at the hands of the police? Does your paycheck look like more Black young men enrolling in college and graduating? Does your paycheck look like more Black people graduating and moving into the profession of their career? What is your paycheck? Is your paycheck just to burn a candle?
Man, we can't hear you.
Yeah, you have to understand.
Economical development. I'm just throwing stuff out there to add to what economical development. I mean, it's a lot of things, you know. I mean, but you know, I'll yield later.
Right. So I will not ever down any efforts that people put forth. They spend their energy. She performing a service.
Right.
But that is not all the services that the Black community needs.
Right.
And what I'm hearing from your tape, she has a limited scope of knowledge. She may be great at organizing and bringing out the masses to protest, But where is the think tank to sit down and say, okay, this is the Black agenda. We need another 10-point plan like the Black Panthers put out in 1966 or whatever year it was.
Right.
So, you know me, all hands on deck. Everybody has a gift. Everybody has a skill and a talent. But one talent can be, you know, glorified, and the other talent just like fall by the wayside. But that's the one that we need. That's the one that's falling by the wayside is the one we need to come to the forefront because you know, and we was talking about sports. They have those noise makers. They just make the noise.
Right.
Get the crowd hyped up for the game. But it's the ones in the back that's the think tank that's writing out the plays, that's writing out how to be successful, that's looking and analyzing the crowd. What does the crowd need? The crowd needs a victory. How can we get that victory? We can get that victory by one. Yes, we can accept the executive order, and I believe the executive order or the act that they're trying to get pushed through Congress is called the George Floyd Act. Yes, we need that on the books. Now we need to give some teeth to that. So 25 years, we can look back and say, oh, America has grown. That needle moved just a notch. Because in 2021, police brutality was just crazy. But we got this act enforced, and then we have a way to a system to redress it. And now we see a steady decline. The numbers have really fallen in terms of police brutality. And contrawise, going back to that Black agenda, we see one, for me, the Black agenda is to reestablish the Black family. And that begins with the Black man and the Black woman. It takes two to make a family. Black man, Black woman, then all y'all that like the alternative, whatever you establish. But nevertheless, this is the family, the Black man, the Black woman. From them comes the child. That needs to be reestablished. We're failing in having relationships. We're failing to marry. We're failing to stay married because we're in a disposable era. Oh, I don't like the way you brush your teeth. I'm a high value man, so I can get a higher value woman that uses Diamond Crest toothpaste because she can bring that to the table. So our values, our family values are misconstrued. As to why does a man come to a woman? It's not just to have fun and feel good. It's about building the oldest institution in the world. The oldest institution is the family. And we have to building family. And no government legislation, no police department can police your relationship.
Somebody get that sister a church right there, man. You know, go ahead. No, Beast, you want to get the little plate so we collect the
Hey, ain't my first time being an usher. I know what's on the left side. I take
right. We got a thing called Cash App. It's showing at the bottom. It's Cash App is showing at the bottom right now, ladies and gentlemen. Cash App. Anita Chope is right there. The first one that's come on by. Go ahead, teach. We need to interrupt you.
We have to seriously think when we, you know, oh, it's Friday night. I'm gonna go to the bar. I'm gonna find me a hottie. I'm gonna find me a shorty. For what? Just to use her, abuse her, break her down, or she use and abuse you and break you down, and then you go on to the next person. Now you're a broken person.
Yep.
And you repeat the cycle instead of like, wait a minute, stop. Let's really consider what is high value. High value is self-love.
Amen.
High value is self-determination.
Amen.
High value is self-development in terms of character, building character for yourself, being a person that you can look in the mirror and say, oh, I like that person.
Mhm.
I'm attracted to the person I see in the mirror. I love, and I'm going to pour love into the person that I see in the mirror. I'm going to get my education. And even if I'm not educationally inclined, I'm going to develop some type of hustle. And with that hustle, I'm going to go by the nation's laws and develop my paperwork so I am legitimate. And I can be the best person I can be for my community. Now, as I develop myself, male development, here you have two people that's well developed and have a vision for their life and understand what life is all about. And they can build a family and build a community. My grandmother and grandfather, on my father's side, my grandmother had 18 kids with my grandfather. My grandmother, she
She talking to my spirit now.
She was one of 20 kids, and I asked her, I said, why were families so big? They said because we had a farm.
Amen.
Free labor.
We can add to our labor force.
Amen. Now you're talking about some real stuff, though. I mean, how many of us think about owning farms? You know, but no, I'm listening. Yeah, everything they're saying is true.
What kind of family business can you develop? There are so many services that the world needs. They will pay you to perform a service. But all you thinking about, I'm gonna get. Oh, she had a beautiful skin, and she was just right. That's nothing. If you as a man cannot stand up in your kingship and lead her and develop an empire. You can't develop an empire. You're not thinking about an empire. You're not thinking. You're not thinking. Because they say children are your inheritance. So whether you mean to start a family with that shorty you met at the bar, if you don't wear no protection, you're gonna be in the family way. But what kind of family? You developing a dysfunctional family because you don't even know Shorty's last name. Don't even know where Shorty lives. External. The problem is internal. The problem is you and me, man and woman. That's the problem. We fix that problem, then all the other problems will shrink.
I'm gonna have a question. I'm gonna have a question on the floor. Is this the first time? Is this the first time you ever had teach you a sermon on this show? Say I. Whoa!
Oh, y'all thought I was joking over here just for comedic effort. No, she was speaking to a nigga spirit over here.
Oh my goodness! And speaking to the spirit, I was about to be like, I need to put in the commercial break, but she spitting right now, as they would say. She's spitting. So I ain't wanna
let him use you. Let him use you.
Well, I'm gonna let
so because we if we really seriously want to rise as Africans, we have to have the right ingredients. Not anything or everything will do. It's simple. When you want to make a cake versus a donut, you have some of the same ingredients: flour, eggs, sugar, milk, maybe. But it's the way you put those ingredients together that determine whether or not you have a cake, some donuts, some pancakes, or some crepes, or some other, even bread. You take the same ingredients, but the way you put them together will determine your outcome. So if we don't come together right, it's going to be any kind of way. We have to get our minds together. We have to come back and bring our minds back in focus. Because we don't have it, we don't understand it. We don't understand it.
All right, the spirit is running through me over here, but we gotta get this commercial break. So everybody back to your corners. All right, everybody catching the ghosts over here. So we'll be right back. Y'all just don't stop playing for the unrehearsed podcast. I cannot wait till we get started off. It's gonna be me, Beast Johnson, and Mayo, and then Cheech. She drops in for that. But yeah, we're gonna give y'all more details on the show as we get together and come up with segments and all that great stuff. I just cannot wait with the NFL season and college football around the corner. It's time for us to get ready for some sports. Other than that, so we got that one half of the show down. I mean, Tish killed it. I mean, she bludgeoned it. I mean, like she brought it back to life just to kill it again and roll on top of it with the bus and all that stuff. So we all felt it. So
Tish pulled the first lady.
Yes, she
Tish pulled the first. She just kind of stood up and was like, "Just let me." I'm sorry, baby, but the spirit is just moving with me, and I just got to say something. And we still picking people up over here. We got a couple sisters laid out with some prayer rags over. So y'all give us more.
One thing I would just like to add, you know, and I'm adding about to what I said last before she got on, and it's adding to what she said is that, and I'm gonna put this as a tweet. I'm gonna quote this on Twitter tonight. I'll put this out there. It came onto my mind that we need to realize in our generation that being an influencer is not equivalent to being a leader. You know, we have a lot of influencers, and in our community thinks that they're all leaders. But you know, being an influencer, there you go. I mean, there's bad leadership and good leadership. So the devil might be a bad leader. But what I'm saying is that, in the sense of leader, in a positive sense, maybe I should say, being an influencer does not mean that.
He's not a leader because he doesn't lead anybody. He influences your ways and influences your thoughts. So when you think about influencers, why would you put faith into someone that is influencing your actions? They're not leading your actions, leading your movements, or leading you in a way. And that's a good point too. You can have good and bad leadership as well. But that whole influence thing, the devil influences. So why would I put a whole lot of faith in an influencer? Because they can be easily influenced themselves.
If we're going literally by the word influencer and leaders, you can say that I'm wrong in my statement. But if we're going like towards what an influencer is in our culture today, meaning that someone has a lot of popularity, and then I mean they are somewhat of a leader because they're leading folks to a dead end or to nowhere. But then are they a true leader in the sense that is it bettering people's life? So I guess depending on how you look at those two words, if you want to look at it literally, an influencer is a leader. But in the sense of being a better Black America, we have a lot of influencers that we follow a lot, that we get excited about. But are they truly the leaders that we had in the past? Are they the Malcolm X type of leader? Are they the Dr. King type of leader? And I think that's where,
Yeah, it's negative influence or positive influence.
Absolutely. There you go.
I will agree with you, but I was trying to find another word that could really define an influencer versus the power and kind of like premise of a leader in the true sense. Yeah. I would consider influencers as guides.
What? Well, I mean, I'm using influencers.
Glorified guides,
What? I'm using influence in the sense of how the popular influence today's when you talk about influencers, people that have social media accounts.
True. Like I said, I agree with you.
I think this generation need more of a Malcolm X. I don't think Dr. King. We need more of a Martin Luther. We need more of Martin Luther King because, as you see, people love to use Dr. King. Like Dr. King wouldn't approve Black Lives Matter. He wouldn't approve doing this, doing that. And
you know what I say? Look. The Boondocks say different.
And majority of the time, because he said he was going to Canada. And majority
tired
of
you
the
niggas
time,
and your bullshit, I'm moving to Canada.
And majority of the time, it's coming from people that don't look like us that always want to bring up, well, Dr. King would approve this. They just want to stop at that one part of Dr. King's speech. Like, I did tell y'all this one time. So, my ex-co-worker, because right now I'm out the military, but I'm going to get back in. Just want to throw that out there. One of my co-workers, he's a conservative. He's a strict conservative. And we and him were just talking. We sit back talking, and he was like, "Well, you know what? I had my daughter listen to Dr. King's speeches, and he wouldn't approve of what's going on right now." And for me, I'm like a podcaster. I just sit back and I just listen. I'm like, yeah, I'm just writing this in and all that stuff. And I really wanted to tell him, like, did you let her also listen to the very last speech before he passed away? Or that speech where he was talking about how white people was given land and, mechanized everything. And did you let her look at those speeches? Or the other speech where he was it wasn't even a speech, it was an interview where he literally said that I felt like I marched my people into a burning house. I wanted to tell him that so bad, but then I knew he probably would have been like, well, that's kind of racist. And I'm like, if you're going to sit there and listen to all the speeches, you sit there and say you want to listen to all the speeches, you got to listen to all the speeches. So, yeah, that was just like, it just took me back because it just sums up everything with people that don't look like us. When they talk about Dr. King, they stop at, I had a dream speech. Right. And then there's a handful of white folks that actually listen to all of Dr. King's speeches. Like, it just didn't stop there. It went on from there. Hopefully, Tisha pops back on. But I just wanted to add on to that point too as well. But also to end on that point of the last topic that we was talking about. What I'm saying is basically, we do need people that actually are movers and shakers in the community to actually be the ones that put the foot on their necks. I'm sick and tired of people just doing this. Oh my gosh, just hey man, stop what you're doing. Stop that. Like, I don't think any of y'all saw this video.
We need them too now. But go ahead.
Yeah, but you got
I say
one thing. I think that if not more, they're as valuable as Tamika's ASS. I mean, because like my thing again is that if you there just to console the family, there are many people that can do that. If the person that took a picture of George Floyd, if they didn't take it, we won't be talking about somebody being locked up in the sense of whatever to do. So to me, we need everybody. We need the Tamikas of them too. I just wanted to make sure that we know that she stays in her lane, and she does not make herself come off like, like I'm the guy that's giving you what to do. No, it's not her fault. She didn't ask the question to herself. They asked the question to her. She should have been like, that's not my purview. I'm there to make sure that I console the family. I let the community know that we're gonna be all right. And there's that. And I'm not saying she said that she don't know, because she doesn't know what she doesn't really doesn't know. She's ignorant of her ignorance. But my point is that her ignorance showed in that question that they gave to her. She's like, oh, Biden did what he can do. He doing this, he doing that. No, he's not doing all he can do, because she's not putting about. She's not adding the fact that he's a leader of the Democratic Party nationally. That's part of the job. Hear me out. And hear me out. She's not adding the fact that. So all the things that could be done. I mean, the people that, like I said, political prisoners for black folks, they've been locked up, and he can free if he really wants to show that I'm on your side, not supposed to give him speeches and stuff. I mean, all those things, just the same way that people that he has advisors, they're the ones telling him all these good things to say, but they're not pushing because they're afraid to push their boss. Maybe they might get fired from position. They're just doing whatever it takes to keep their job. And that's what I'm saying. That's what's hurting us as black people. We need some people that are detached from that. Not Malcolm was detached from that. He didn't care about going to the White House. He didn't care about, he didn't care about being, like I said, my biggest thing about your boy Roland Martin, that, he was like, Obama, I was shocked and whatever. I mean, that was his thing. But I'm serious. I mean, and the Tavis and the Cornel West and them, they got the poo-poo from the community because they dare talk about the black president. But that we need somebody that's going to challenge the popular people. We need somebody going to challenge them.
But Roland did challenge Obama plenty of times. He challenged him plenty of times.
Give me one example.
He challenged him. He challenged him on education because Obama was not pushing the much funding for the God dang it, for the HBCU. He criticized him for that. He also criticized Obama with anything about. No. Let me. I've been having short times of speaking my mind. Now let y'all intervene. Let me speak. I just jump back when people had something to say. I jump back, but now I got you for that.
Go ahead.
So, but there's a lot of times where Roland Martin. I don't know what you've been watching of Roland Martin, because Tavis Smiley, to me, what him and Cornel West did, they was correct. I had no issues with what they did and going on a tour with all of that. But my thing was with Tavis Smiley and what they all did was that it would have been great if they could have, as everybody wanted to say, that Roland Martin was freely going into the Obama office and all that stuff. Why couldn't he do that? Or like say, hey, Roland, since you got a shot of going in, have us come in with you. Let's sit down. Let's talk about it. So
can I say the one thing? All I'm saying that since because we talked about this last show, I don't want to bring it and belabor us on this show about it too. What I'm saying is that if you can, I would shut up about Roland Martin if you can find one or two clips where he called out President Obama saying, President Obama, you are not doing this. No, hear me out. He's not saying the Obama administration they could do better on this. I mean, I'm just saying he calling them out saying that you are not doing it, and he's calling out the man that you can do this and you're not doing it, and he's not just putting on an admission because my thing is that that is, even if he did that, that's better than doing nothing. So I'm gonna give credit if he did that, but I'm just saying
he was never, and this was back in his TV One days. He never jumped on the Obama bandwagon like, woo, everything he's doing is correct. He criticized Obama a lot. If
you found one or two videos and I'll join your club. The Roland Martin Club.
No, come on. Don't even try.
If you find two videos, all I gotta do is
find those videos
on President Obama.
I will have the videos for. I will have those videos for you because there's plenty of times when he was on TV One, and even when he started Roland Martin Unfiltered, he criticized Obama. He wasn't on the bandwagon. He wasn't drinking all the Kool-Aid.
I hope I qualified it though. I hope I qualified. What I'm saying is that he puts the onus on the president, saying that the president, you're not doing this, and you should be doing this.
Yes.
And okay, so that's all I need. If I see that, I'm fine. Because I think we need to have room where people can talk to our leaders. If they're on one side or the other side, And that's what I don't see that. I think that it's always the guys on one side who are criticizing. There's also the guys
on one side and that
they're cheerleading and stuff. And I don't want that. I want someone that can do both. You know,
and we both agree. We both agree on that because you believe that the Democrat Party is systemically racist, which I do want to talk on the show about that. And I think that's going to be a highly rated show. So watch out for that. Me and Mel.
I don't want my fellow Democrats to see me and try to get me out my seat.
Right. We're going to compare that.
I work hard for this now.
The Republican Party is overt racism, and the Democrat Party has a lot of systemic racism in them. And I think that the ones who really want to change it can change it because like they're in it. They can change it from within, So that's what.
Right. But I will find those videos.
I'll remind you. I'm gonna write it down my little note here.
Go ahead. I will find them. I will send those videos.
At least 2 videos that he's gonna show during the show, and he's calling out President Obama, saying again, with all love and respect to the president, he is not doing the things he's supposed to be doing, and I want him to do this, And if I see 2, I become a Rolling Martin fan. On the spot.
Wow. He said on the spot. Okay. Got you. But other than that, since we closed that part of the show, let's talk about our panelists. Mr. Beast Johnson. Mel, you probably got tagged in this too. Let me go ahead and show this up here. This man right here, ladies and gentlemen, I'm being a narrator over this. Look at that. What you see right there is 10,000, little over 10,000 monthly plays. Wow. Independent artists. Now, now, Beast. Now, tell me if I'm wrong. You didn't even put the album out yet, and you just put out singles, and it was getting hits.
Yeah, the album. Well, technically, it's an EP. For those that don't know the difference, it's based on track listings. Pretty much anything shorter than 8 to 10 tracks is considered an EP, and it's an easier way to churn out material while working on a full-length project, something 10 to 15 tracks.
But let me give y'all context on this right here. So you already see over 10,000 listeners a month. Look at this. I am still confused on this right here.
That's beautiful.
Which one is that one?
That's Des Moines.
Des Moines,
yeah. Oh, somebody got some weird.
Okay. That sounded kind of dope. I like that.
Yeah. I am like, okay, so ladies and gentlemen, you probably said, what are we looking at here? So these are these are the numbers of people that listen to his singles, his EP. You got Dallas, that's number 2. You got Buffalo. Beast Johnson from North Carolina, ladies and gentlemen. Let me say that again. North Carolina.
Yeah.
This is up here. This is in New York.
New York City.
And look at this. He even got Germany. He even got Germany, ladies and gentlemen.
Congratulations, Beast.
I know that's deep.
It's very humbling to see people that have no fucking idea who you are, but be like, yo, I like that song.
That's dope.
I was actually, dude, I'm not even gonna lie to you. I was actually jamming your songs earlier this week. I actually got it on my playlist, but here's another one that got me. I may not be Peyton Manning, but Omaha.
Omaha.
You got Omaha in number 11, and you got Seattle. And you got Seattle.
For you hood folk out there that understand why he hype about it, in Negro terms, in Blackanese, if you will, Black people aren't truly successful until some form or a good percentage of white people be like. So when you see white places like Des Moines and Omaha fucking with this right here, you know you out there doing something. You ain't out here. You ain't out here wasting your time. You ain't out here wasting your time.
Beast, you are not lying with that, man. I mean, people don't understand about being independent. Independent is. Now, I'm not talking about political views or anything. I'm talking about actual independent, doing your own thing, making the world work for you. You coming up with the rules. You going by your own rules. You're breaking your own rules. That's what I'm talking about. As people want to say, boss moves. Now, my question is this. My question is this for you. What is the biggest advice that you could give for anybody who's struggling right now, who's going the independent route? What words of motivation can you give to them?
For all independent artists, it's a matter of balance. Because for the most part, you're doing all this shit yourself. And I take more of a T-Pain approach to it. As successful as this man is, he purposely and specifically learned how to do video editing just so he can make sure his videos come out the way he wants to. Every video this man is in that he's done, he is the last final say. He does the fucking edit. He doesn't get it. He'll get an editor and still go behind that motherfucker before he releases it to the world. If you have the skill or you have the knowledge, why not put it to good use? So for the moments where you feel like you're not creative on that musical aspect, take that energy and put it into the business side. Because for most part, it's real easy to make a song nowadays. You can say the dumbest shit ever and make $1 million hit. But being able to capitalize on that $1 million hit is really where a lot of that time and effort goes into. I spent just as much time crafting my wordplay and my songwriting as I did learning how to be an A&R and learning how to listen to songs from a consumer's aspect and from an engineer's point of view, to really understand how I could better my sound and better my craft. So you definitely got to understand that balance and take heed of every bit of information that is given to you and every bit of information that's accessible. It may seem trivial at that point, but it will be very powerful in the long run.
Well, thank you for that inspiration, Beast. For anybody who thought I was lying, check it out. I got my boy Beast old tracks up on my playlist. I'm not lying to y'all. This is on my like list on Spotify with all the old school jams and all of that stuff. So yeah, I be supporting my boy.
That's
I try to make music for everybody, man. Like I grew up listening to everything. So shit, my music got to appeal to everybody. That's how I see it.
All right, I'm gonna smack my hand real quick because Teach. I told I want her to squeeze in about the PPP loan.
Oh, yes.
If you think you can just squeeze that in a little bit, Teach, and then we can just continue it on to Friday because I want to get to y'all segments.
And I'll fall back on my segment because that's some information I want to hear about myself.
Okay, because we gotta introduce a new segment. Our boy Mayo finally got one, but we just gonna hold off on that.
Well, he can take my spot. Go ahead, do what you gotta do, Teach. Let us know about these PPP loans.
I want to say again to Beast, congratulations.
Thank you.
Your star is shining. Continue to allow it to shine throughout the stratosphere. You can only go up. All right. So,
yes.
As I was saying in my opening statement, the thing that I want to emphasize to any individual, a sole proprietor, an LLC, executive for a nonprofit, a president, a CEO of a corporation or a partnership, is paperwork. Create a paperwork trail and educate yourself on the money, the funding that is available. There's 4 different categories. Everybody knows PPP concerning this pandemic money, and that stands for personal protection payments. That's one category. Most independent people don't even fall in that category. And there's a second category, that's the EIDL. And the third category is called the Shuttered Venues Grant. And that's for performing artists. That's for dancers, singers, musicians that normally have a public venue and perform their shows, be it a recital, a concert, a fashion show. All these people were shut down and put out of business because of the pandemic. So now they just opened up the shuttered venue. So if you are a dancer, singer, and basically you deal with the public in terms of selling tickets to earn your living, there's grant money that does not need to be paid back, that the federal government is offering. Then what I suggest, just make sure you have your paperwork. If you are a dance teacher and you teach classes, have a record of your receipts that you've been doing this, if you have not incorporated yourself as a business. And the fourth type of money that's out there is for restaurants revitalization. So I encourage people of color to look into these monies to see where you fit. If you were an Uber driver, there's money for you. If you were the contractor, a handyman, you just went around fixing doorknobs for people, installing glass, just handiwork around the house, be it residential or commercial. You show your receipts. You don't have to be afraid of the money that's out there, because your counterpart of other races, they're getting this money and they don't even need it. But there's a lot of propaganda that's out there that's making people of color afraid to take advantage. And I've encouraged several people to at least try and see. Some people won't even apply, and some people can attest to that the application is very short. They ask you your name, the name of your business, the address, your taxpayer ID number or your EIN number. What is the nature of your business? Were you in business, or are you starting a business? And then they ask you your bank account and your routing number. In the past couple of weeks, I've encouraged people to apply. Some people had their notices back in 2 or 3 days, they were denied. Other people got approved and they're waiting for disbursements. So I hear a lot of negativity. Oh, I heard Pookie Ray Ray, he got $20,000. He don't even have a business. Well, if you take your time and go to the government website, you don't have to be in business. These are money set aside for you to start up your business. So let's stop listening to Pookie and Ray Ray and the dudes in the barbershop and the beauty salon and at the bar, and let's go to the government website and read what the qualifications are, because you know our government, they're going to approve you or deny you. And if they approve you, they have a reason for approving you. I even heard people give me feedback, oh, I don't want the government in my business. And I'm like, where do you live? Do you live in Bikini Bottom with SpongeBob? Because if you live in the United States, the government knows all of your business. And make no mistake about that. They know your business already. And it's very funny. And I'm going to go off on a tangent, but I'll be right back. You all know that I did the census, right? Now, the government to know where you're going to people with the household. My God, when that same government said, we got some money for you. Oh, they made sure the government knew their bank account number so they can get their stimulus checks. Come on, people. The government knows everything already anyway. You're not fooling them. So, for you to say you don't want the government in your business, they're already in your business. What part of it can you extract? Or what part of it can you deduct from the government? Nothing at all. So I just want to encourage you all to think about your little side hustles, video production. Every now and then you shoot a video for a wedding. Or you may shoot a video for Beast music, for his music. That's a small business. They didn't say how small. They said small businesses and big businesses. Some businesses are getting millions of dollars. So I just want to encourage the minority community to look at the little side hustle. You sell dinners and special bouquets on different occasions. That's a business. Take 15 seconds to go to the irs.gov and apply for an EIN number. They will give you one in less than 15 seconds. That is the beginning of your paperwork, the beginning of you being legitimate.
Thank you so much, Tisha, on that. You know what? I'm going to talk more about that on Friday. You think you can do that more deep in depth on Friday?
Sure.
Cool. All right, good. All right. So now we're going to take a commercial break, and we're going to introduce the brand new segment by Mr. Mayo. Well, hold up. Let me take that back. Mayo's Lounge. Mayo. Hey, we got our reservations. Are we good to come in?
Absolutely. Always.
Okay. So we will leave from Mayo's Lounge, and then we're going to get on the plane. We're going to head to Africa. So, Tisha, you go ready to give us a nice tour and give us some more new culture to learn?
Yes.
All right, cool. And then we're going to leave from Africa and we're going to head to the community. So, Peace, what's on tap now?
We're going to talk more about giving out roses and networking and how you supposed to properly work amongst your people.
All right, cool. So I got my reservation, I got my passport, and I got the directions to Beast Community. So we all set, we all ready. But till then, we got a commercial break. We be right back.
I love it. I love it. Oh my goodness, Mayor's Lounge. I love it. So we're gonna kick off Mayor's Lounge for the first time by just telling y'all what to expect in the future in Mayor's Lounge. It'll be somewhere where we can talk about, the how to's. How can we make our government work for us? Yeah, I know all day I'm into government, I'm always gonna leave you with a song. Now that's what the music comes in. I mean, either some blues or some soul that you can listen to and just go check out. And once you check that out, you kind of know where we at. But definitely, I will start with the song. I think that what I want to live with today, it's that's where it's at. That's one of my first Sam Cooke song that kind of like got me going initially. And it is like a kind of like a schmoozing song where you can, I guess I don't know if that's the right phrase to use, but a song that you're supposed to be listen to when you thinking about your woman if you're a man, and a man if you're a woman, or if you into other stuff that's different than what I know in particular, than into your partner, so to speak. So, but yeah, and it's just one of those songs that I remember when I first listened to. I'm like, man, this brother is kind of telling some good stuff, and that's where it's really at. When they talking about those, that's pretty much some of the cool stuff in life that you can just do and just kind of like relax and feel like this is what everybody wants. That's where it's at. So it's a beautiful song. That's where it's at. Check it out. Most of the time I'll play it in the future. I'll play in the background. I don't know how much they're gonna let us do that today. I mean, Facebook and all that, but just play a little bit in the background. Enough to not be in trouble. And from there, then we'll talk about the song a little bit, like I did today. Then the other things that we might have in the future is also we will talk about the last Friday of the month because we have a soul food seafood blues night, which is the last Thursday of every month. So it's coming up next week. Am I actually, is that be this week? No, that'll be next week. So last Thursday of the month of every month we have seafood and soul, and seafood and blues. I keep saying soul, seafood and blues. But this Mayor's Lounge is about soul and blues. So either one or two might come out. But definitely that one last Thursday of the month is seafood and blues night. So, and the next day on Friday, we do like a little show, or maybe on Saturday, do a show about that, what we picked the night before. So we might talk about it maybe, on our segment when we get a chance. The other thing we talk about is, the global issues that are going on that you don't hear on CNN, or you don't hear MSNBC or Fox, stuff that, like America is, like, supposed to be doing right or wrong, not they're supposed to be doing right on, but they are wrong on. And if they're doing something right, and we need to give them more kudos, we're gonna hear about those kind of things on in Mayor's Lounge. So then the last one is sports. What's going on in sports. Yeah, I know y'all boy played college football, so and y'all boy wanted to play college baseball when it was in baseball when it was in school. And my first sports I actually played was soccer. So I'm a little bit diverse to my sports, and I was a huge basketball fan growing up as well. So y'all gonna hear y'all boy talk about sports and some of the Mayor's Lounge events. But so those are the areas that we're gonna dibble and dabble in. Y'all never know what we might bring to y'all Mayor's Lounge, but expect something from all those. But today, just think that's where it's at. Play that with your significant other. If you don't have one, play that thinking about the one that you want to have, and the thing about being right there. But that's where it's at for us in Mayor's Lounge, and I look forward to the next one for sure. Thank you so much for the night.
Karibu, welcome, welcome in the language of the Kiswahili speaking people of Tanzania. We're getting ready to embark upon the Summer Learning Institute from June the 7th through the 21st in Tanzania. I just want to show you just a highlight of one of the BOMAs that we experienced while we were in Tanzania with the Maasai people. And this is the leader of the Maasai. And I'm going to pull this thing up. Click, I think it'll show. Well, okay. Well, I shared it, so I don't know what's going on. Anyway, technology for you. All right, I seen something blank, but anyway, one of the highlights.
We are
There it
one
is.
family.
Okay. I don't know. Morris, can you press play? Oh,
I mean, my father is a chief. We are Maasai tribe. We are polygamy. So the men, we have many wives. So that's why we have big family, right? Yeah. So you are welcome. In here, we have 110 people living here. My father will have 9 wives. Yes, and you have 38 children. Yes, right? Yes. So all are here, we are related to each other. Yeah. We are nomadic life. Masai, we are nomadic people. The people who live in a nomadic, we move because we follow new practices and we water for our animals. So no permanent. Uh, we stay here for 6 months or 3 months, and then we go to another place. Okay? Yes. So everyone will move to follow enough grass.
Oh, okay.
Yes. Okay? Yeah.
It's like rotation of crops.
Yes.
all right. So that was just a little clip that I did the last time that we were in Tanzania, looking into the lifestyle of the Maasai people. And like this chief explained that his father had 9 wives and 38 children, and they move around. And one of the things that he talked about was polygamy. And that's an issue that seems to be taboo in the Christian world. But if you think about it, when you think about a man that's married and has several side chicks, it's not that polygamy. Or a single man that has a whole bunch of girlfriends. Don't you think that's polygamy? But the way it's framed and the way it's not accepted in a society, the men are doing the same thing, except that in polygamy, there's honor and respect. Won't say there's not jealousies, but there's honor and respect, and it's a purpose for having multiple wives. And one of the reasons is, like I talked about earlier, was that labor force. And by his father being the king or the chief of that society, he's very wealthy. He has many cows and he needs help to manage his wealth, and that is through his children. So on these trips, we look into the lifestyles of the people. We actually, you can see this is hands on. If I may show another clip where they showed us how they actually make fire. Let me see, this one. What is it? Okay. All right. So I queued it, and I guess it'll play in a second. Again, this technology.
Woo, burn, baby, burn.
So they were showing us utilize the natural resources of cow dung
Wow.
That's
There it is.
fire.
Wow.
So anybody interested in coming along with
Yes.
contact me and do the joke on Facebook. And I guide you to our group, which is the African Roots and Heritage Study Travel Group,
How could
where
we
we
ever
post
forget?
regularly about the trips that we're taking. So these are some of the hands-on things that we do um, when we are on site. We try to get indulge in the culture, seeing how people live differently than we do. Um, and that's it. That's it for tonight. So I hope you will come out and join us in Tanzania.
Everybody want to get roses, but don't want to own up to throwing rocks. Seems to be the psychological plight of our community nowadays. It's so easy to give somebody their props. What's the saying? It takes more muscles and brain effort to frown than it does to smile. I mean, it's just easier to just say, "Yo, I see what you're doing over there. Good work," as opposed to just going out of your way to find some trivial reason to hate. You think we'd have figured this shit back out by now? But apparently, we still feel like it's cool to point fingers and just be overtly negative to each other. Ain't nothing cool about being a jackass or being a stuck up bitch. No matter how popular they are, don't nobody really fucking deal with them. And when some shit jump off that they need help with, they come to a real quick realization that nobody sincerely likes them or really tolerates them and would be there for them if they were in need of assistance or even support. But the people that out here that don't necessarily go out of their way, but have no problem being positive and exuding that positivity out into society, oh, they always gonna have somebody to help them out, whether they want the help or not, whether they realize they're being helped or not. They're gonna get that help because they ain't got no problem seeing the beauty in life and giving somebody their roses. Because a single rose could really help somebody make it through their day and really fulfill their life. Y'all hear the little stories. It's always usually your mamas, but a lot of musicians will often say that it was certain teachers and random influences in their life that really got them to that point. That gave them their roses then and told them that they were on the right path and they could make something of their particular endeavor. And they've made something of their endeavor and so much more. And now you hear them giving these people their praises. It was real simple. They praised them. Why wouldn't I give them the praise after the fact? It's real easy. And if you don't believe me, go back to my Kobe and Allen Iverson defense. Allen Iverson will always be one of the best, if not the best, players out there. I put him up against Jordan any day, and Jordan has even said that many of the greats like Jordan. Allen Iverson was a fucking problem. If I had to go against him, I knew I had to train extra hard because that asshole was going to try to show me out. So can you not say Allen Iverson ain't the greatest when the clear greatest that you know of say that man was great and helped me be great? Give you roses. You ain't got to worry about no rocks being thrown. Hope you enjoyed this little brief moment to the community. I enjoyed talking to you, and I hope to see you again. Big Bear, what's good with your pimp? Fat Gangster, shouts out. Real quick, since we talking about networking and showing your love, shouts out to my man Big Bear, Christopher Stevenson, incorporated with Daddy Duty, also a fellow artist by the name of Fat Gangster. He got a mixtape out there as well. So you see what happens when you show support. You build a network, you build a community, you build a family. I yield the floor. Hope y'all enjoyed the show.
Well, Beast, I'm sorry I clicked off that way too quick. That was my fault. Got some shout outs for you, man. This goes out. I'm gonna do this for each and every one of the panelists for my final thoughts. So I'm gonna start with Mail. Mail, when you was doing your lounge and you was discussing all your stuff, for some reason I was thinking about shrimp and grits. I said, you know what? I'm gonna make that one of these days. Actually, I'm gonna post it on hashtag Fade to Black and cook it and see how it comes out and comes to be. When he was talking, he did his thing. I was thinking catfish with some mac and cheese on the side. You know, that I give it to California, but with that North Carolina twist to it, with the not even a dash, but like with the Old Bay, you just fry it, and then you just have the freaking what's that hot sauce? I forgot his name, the famous one, but yeah, Texas Pete on the side. And then when Teach was talking, I don't know why I was thinking about jambalaya. Jambalaya and Detroit style ribs. Now, quick story on that. When Teach was I think it was during the summertime when I was still going to the community college, because Teach was my teacher, that's my car Teach. And I had to go to drill, and she had get together of her house, and she brung Detroit style ribs. And everybody was telling me how good they was. And I was like, man, I can't believe I missed it. So that's what I was thinking. So I'm going to see how, or at least I could talk to Teach about how can I get Detroit style ribs sent over here so I can cook it. And then I got to come up with a good flavor of jambalaya. So I don't know. It just popped into my head on like the different foods when y'all was talking. So I got, once again for Teach, Detroit style ribs with jambalaya. Mayo, I got shrimp and grits. And with Beast, I got catfish with mac and cheese. Now, I make mac and cheese a little bit different. I know like a lot of y'all like to bake y'all mac and cheese. Honestly, I put cheese upon cheese up in that sucker, stir it up. I put some secret ingredients up in there. I'm not going to tell y'all that. I'm not going to spoil it. And then I don't bake it at all. I just pour it right up on the plate. But if I bake it, I give it a try, But yeah, but that's all I'm thinking. So for all three of y'all, I got to give it a name for each and every one of y'all once I get it done, okay? So that's my final thought. I just thought it'd be nice since, because I'm kind of hungry anyway. So throwing it out there to y'all. So I yield the floor. And once again, congratulations on Beast once again for his album. And for anybody, other independent artists out there doing the damn thing, love and respect. And you can also come on the show and you can put it out there as well.
For my evening and closing statement, I'm going to go back to it again. You spend more time throwing out roses, less time you worry about getting hit with rocks. Show love, get love. And to quote Jackie Moon, the greatest promoter ever, ELE. Everybody love everybody. Y'all have a good show. I'm glad we had a good show, and I hope you enjoyed the show. I yield the floor.
Wow. Yeah. The only way you can have Detroit style ribs is if you were born and raised in Detroit. So sorry. It cannot be replicated anywhere if you weren't born here. There was something about Detroit ribs. I have to tell you, the time that I lived in Ohio, people say, oh, they call it a cookout. And we just barbecue. So it's a difference. And I'm going to tell you the major difference between barbecuing and cooking out. In Detroit, if you ever come to Detroit during barbecuing season, you will smell the barbecue blocks and blocks and blocks away. You know somebody got some good meat cooking. When I was in Ohio and they had those cookouts, you never smelled any meat cooking. And that goes to the taste. You couldn't smell it while it was cooking, and you can't taste it after it's done. So you can come to Detroit and we can sit in the backyard. We was actually out in the backyard today, putting everything in place and everything. We're going to have a barbecue for Memorial Day. So I invite everyone over for a Detroit barbecue where you can smell the meat miles away and you can taste it when it's cooking. So, to my final thought, I want to encourage every person that has a side hustle, that calls themselves an entrepreneur. Just do your paperwork. Put your paperwork in order and take advantage of the opportunities that have presented themselves. Why say, oh, the government won't do this for us, the government won't do that, when you won't even fill out the application? The monies are there, and you've heard the stories. Some people that don't have a business have gotten the money, and that is because this pandemic has put us in a place to think differently, to think outside of going to a job when so many jobs were closed down, so many businesses were closed down. People had to find a way to begin a new life. And this is what these monies are about. Educate yourself. Go to sba.gov and find out where you fit in. I don't know when the deadlines are, but I believe they're coming to a close. So get in where you can fit in and benefit. One person, I said, hey, these are our reparations. So you get it how you get it. And with that, I yield the floor.
So I don't know if y'all can hear the background over there a little bit. Hopefully it ain't too loud enough to overdraw my voice. But that's Sam back there, making it happen. I'm just gonna say my final thoughts come from what I'm gonna bring in next time. We have the being able to be in the zone with Mayo, in a group with me and all that. What we're gonna do is talk about what's going on with the Palestinians right now. That's gonna be what we're gonna talk about then. But I want to leave y'all with some love. Again, play the song. Look it up on YouTube or whatever you listen to stuff at. What's called Alexa, whatever, Pandora. That's what it's at. If you've never heard it before, play that tonight and show your loved ones some extra love. So that's we're gonna leave y'all, and that's where it's at. So that's my thing tonight. Show somebody additional love, somebody in your life that you loving. Show them some additional love tonight. And like I said, next time we have a segment, we'll be talking about the issue with the Palestinians. That's what we're going to be talking about. So, but much love to all.
And ladies and gentlemen, that will do it for us. I was talking about food, but Like, like okay, cool. I can take it. I can take it on chin.
I can attest to Detroit hospitality. I went to a 420 one set up by a homegirl or my girlfriend at the time, and I've never seen so much food, hospitality, liquor, weed. I was like, I fell in love with it at that moment. I was like, it's a good thing you married because this was gonna be an awkward situation. Like,
I got something crazy.
I told the husband that too, like, man, look, thank God you a cool dude, because if not, I might have to try to take your woman, man. I ain't never felt this kind of love in my life. Respectfully.
That's what you told me ahead of time.
So Wednesday we got a special guest, and Wednesday we will give y'all the topic on what we're going to be talking about. But I believe today was a pretty great show. I believe we start Monday off great. The whole week is going to go great. So hopefully we start off great for y'all, and we will be back on Wednesday. As for Anita Joe, aka Teach, Mayo, and as well as Beast Johnson. Thank y'all for tuning into the show. Thank y'all so very, very, very much. I gotta write down those little recipes that I put for both of y'all, unlike the Detroit ribs. But anyways, thank y'all for tuning in. As your host, Dr. Lamonte Morris, and also big shout out to our sponsor, Sky Zone Society, for sponsoring the show. Y'all all have a good one. We will be back on Wednesday. It's been real and cannot wait till Unrehearsed Podcast finally come back on the show. With that, we're outro. See y'all on Wednesday. Bye-bye.
Much love.
Peace.